Hello everyone, welcome to the another virtual class of history. Hope you all are well. So today we are going to discuss about the civil disobedience movement. So in the previous class we discussed the non-cooperation movement and its consequences. So today we'll discuss about civil disobedience movements, its causes and consequences. Okay. So civil disobedience movement. So let's start with it. So the movement which was started by Gandhiji, or we can say that it was the second movement. It was the second movement in the national movement led by Gandhiji. So we need to understand why this movement was led by Gandhiji later on. So for that we need to understand some of the important causes which were responsible for the civil disobedience movement. So few of the causes I have mentioned over here, we can say these are the events also, like Swaraj Party is there. Okay, I'll discuss about it. Simon Commission is there. Nehru Report is there. Viceroy's Declaration is there. Okay, 1929. Then Lahore Session of 1929. So this one I am making it as a star because this is very important as per the reduced syllabus of ICSE board. Okay, so this part is important. So to understand the entire concept of civil disobedience movement, we need to discuss all the important events as well as the causes. So let's start. You know that non-cooperation movement was withdrawn by Gandhiji due to Chauri Chaura incident, which took place in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, Chauri Chaura, a village in Gorakhpur district of Uttar Pradesh. 22 policemen were burned alive, locked in a police station. Okay, so due to that, non-cooperation movement was withdrawn. Now, for that, Gandhiji was arrested also. After the suspension of non-cooperation movement, there was a political vacuum. Nothing was happening at the national level. That is why C.R. Das as well as Motilal Nehru, my dear, they decided to change certain policies in the national movement. As you know that the programs, or we can say that the programs of non-cooperation movement, one of the program was to boycott the council election. So now they wanted that C.R. Das and Motilal Nehru that let us not boycott the council election, let us contest the election and let us make the working of the government difficult from within the council. Okay, but that was not agreed by other Congress leaders like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was there, Rajendra Prasad was there. Okay, so they did not agree to the change of the Gandhian policy. That means Gandhiji had decided that we will boycott the council election. So after the arrest of Gandhiji, this Motilal Nehru and C.R. Das, they decided, let us not boycott the council election. So let us contest the election and let us make the working of the government difficult from within the council. So which was disagreed by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Rajendra Prasad and all. Okay, even C. Rajgopalachari and all. So those who wanted change in the program and the policies, are pro-changers. Like Motilal Nehru, C.R. Das, they came to be known as pro-changers. Whereas those who did not want or those who disagreed in the change of policies, they came to be known as no-changers. Pro-changers and no-changers. Okay, so when there was a disagreement between these two groups within the Congress, my dear, then Motilal Nehru and C.R. Das, they separated themselves from the Congress for a temporary period and they established a party known as Swaraj Party. Swaraj Party was formed under the umbrella of Congress itself. Swaraj Party was formed. Okay, so Swaraj Party contested the election also. In that election they became successful also. Initially they became successful in obstructing the work of the government also. But with the death of C.R. Das in the year 1925, the popularity of the Swaraj Party also disappeared. So popularity of Swaraj Party was completely dependent upon the C.R. Das. Okay, so with the death of C.R. Das in the year 1925, the Swaraj Party also came to an end, or we can say that Swaraj Party merged with the main Congress. So that was Swaraj Party. The next one is Simon Commission. So what was this Simon Commission all about? Why was Simon Commission sent to India? So in 1919, the act which was passed, which came to be known as the Government of India Act 1919, or also known as Monte-Chelmsford Reform. It was mentioned in that act that before the completion of 10 years, the act was for how many years? 10 years. So before the completion of 10 years, a commission will be sent to India to investigate the working of the Government of India Act 1919, so that further recommendation can be made for the new act or to continue with the same act with further addition in that. So for that, in 1928, in the year 1928, that means 2 years earlier, the commission was sent to India. That commission came to be known as Simon Commission. This commission included 7 members, and the head of the commission was Sir John Simon. So it was named on the head, okay, Simon. So it came to be known as Simon Commission. So 7 members committee, when they arrived in India, my dear, okay, this commission was boycotted everywhere throughout India. Since the day they landed, on Bombay, the same day the Hartal was observed everywhere throughout the country. And protest movement started everywhere throughout the country with a black flag written over there, Simon, go back. So why there was a protest against the Simon Commission? Because the Indians were very much unhappy, because this 7 members committee was completely a white commission. Not a single Indian member was there in the commission. All the 7 members in the commission which has come to investigate the working of the Government of India Act 1919 were completely white. White peoples were there. No single Indian member were there in the commission. It was completely a white commission. That is why the boycott started everywhere throughout the country. Whichever places Simon Commission visited, it was welcomed by a boycott and a black flag. Boycotted everywhere. Almost all the political parties in India, they boycotted the Simon Commission. They were not at all happy with the commission because no single Indian member was there in the commission. Okay, so in this instance, my dear, in such protest, one protest which took place in Lahore, my dear, that was on 30th of October 1928, Lala Lajpat Rai was hit by a lathi. So like when situation goes out of control, police lathi charges and all, in that Lala Lajpat Rai also was hit by a lathi. And due to that scummed injury, he did not die that time, but due to that scummed injury, later on he died. Later on, Lala Lajpat Rai died. Okay, so in spite of protest everywhere throughout the country, my dear, Simon Commission traveled to different parts of the country. Okay, met people and met their recommendation. Whatever they had come for, the work for which they were allotted, they did their work and they went back. So, protest everywhere throughout the country, but it did not obstruct the commission. They had come to collect the information. They met with different people. They went to different parts of the country, and they became successful. And they went and submitted the report. So that was that was Simon Commission. Simon Commission was sent to India to investigate the working of the Government of India Act 1919. So they did it. So during their presence in India, protest movement started everywhere throughout the country. Okay. Now next one is Nehru Report. So Simon Commission, no single Indian member was there in the commission. So the justification given by the Britishers were there. The Indians are not at all capable. My dear, in framing the constitution which will be acceptable by all the political parties of India. If you really can make such a constitution which will be accepted by all the political parties of India, then we have no problem. So that challenge was taken by the Congress. Okay, and the responsibility to frame the constitution was given to Motilal Nehru. Okay, so Motilal Nehru anyhow framed the constitution, but you know that we cannot make everyone happy. So Muslim League was not at all happy. Okay, and Hindu Mahasabha also disagreed with the Nehru report. So the report prepared by Motilal Nehru came to be known as Nehru Report. So Nehru Report also was a failure. But one thing we must remember over here: the first time in the history of India, we got a chance to prove the Britishers that we also can do something. We also can frame the constitution of our own. We took it as a challenge, and the Nehru Report came into being. But though Nehru report was not accepted by other political parties of India. Okay. So next one we have is Viceroy's declaration. So in the meantime, my dear, in the meantime, there is in the year 1929, okay, the government changed in England. There was a change in the government. In Britain, the government completely changed. The Labour Party came to power. Two most important parties are there. First one is the Conservative Party and the second one is the Labour Party. So in 1929, Labour Party came to power. Okay, and Ramsay MacDonald became the Prime Minister. Ramsay MacDonald became the Prime Minister. Okay, so Viceroy Irwin, at the time, who was the Viceroy? Lord Irwin was the Viceroy at that time, and he made a declaration. He made a declaration that the natural issue of India's constitutional progress is the attainment of dominion status. That statement was given by Lord Irwin. Okay, so they had given a hint that they are definitely going to provide constitutional progress for our country. So, and to discuss on this, he also announced that a round table conference will be held in London. So, discuss about all these changes to take place and to discuss on the report submitted by Simon Commission. So, round table conference was held in London, to be held in London. Okay, and the Congress also was invited. Okay, so this declaration was made by the Viceroy that the first round table conference will be held in London. So there we'll discuss about what to be done with the constitutional demand of the country. And there also they will be discussing about the report submitted by Simon Commission. Okay, so now in the year 1929, Viceroy's declaration. What important declaration? Round table conference. Okay, so in the year 1929, a session, Congress session was held at Lahore. In 1929, a Congress session was held at Lahore. Okay, in that session, my dear, in that session, Congress took three resolutions. Number one, to boycott the first round table conference. Just listen to me. In the Lahore session of the Congress, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, Congress took adopted three resolutions. Number one, to boycott the first round table conference. Okay. Number two, the attainment of Swaraj. That means we'll start a movement for the attainment of Swaraj. Okay. And number three, to observe 26th January every year as an Independence Day. Okay, Independence Day. So 1929, 31st December 1929, Lahore session was held. December. Okay, so when they took a decision that 31st December, they decided that every year, every 26th January, every 26th January, they observe the day as an Independence Day. Okay, so when was the first Independence Day observed by them? That was in the year 1930. Okay, 26 January 1930 was declared as a day to take the independence pledge. Okay, so from 1930 till we got independence, my dear, 26th January was the day that Indians renewed this pledge to gain independence. Every year they renewed their pledge for the attainment of independence. To remind the people, yes, we have to pledge for independence. So that is all about Lahore session. So from here, this part you have to take importance, and this part also you have to take importance. Okay, rest of this part I have discussed for the better understanding of the causes of the civil disobedience movement. Okay, these are the causes. So hope you all have understood about the civil disobedience movement.